Welcome to episode 491 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
What's happening, boys?
Just another...
Very flat vibe I'm feeling.
Really?
Like, yeah, personally and just like in general.
Oh, well.
No, how can you be flat?
You're a Manly fan, I'm a Tigers fan. What the fuck do you want? What do you want
Finals
from me?
time. Finals football.
Oh, or another way to look at it is like only one more fucking week of this interminable fucking waking nightmare.
Lost the touch football semi-final on the weekend, and then on Saturday, and then watched that fucking abomination of a Tigers game yesterday. So,
well, like if we're being honest, I mean it was like 70 minutes of a great fucking Tigers game, Lenny.
Was it really though, Nathan? Was it really?
Look,
it was 70 minutes of not the worst Tigers game.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, like. Look, let's not jump the gun here. I mean, we'll get to the Tigers game in due course. But yeah,
as we always do.
What you're saying is you had a weekend full of L's. You're taking L's all weekend, Glenny.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you walked away feeling the warm glow, the bonhomie of playing C-grade touch football finals with your child.
Yes.
So it's a positive. You walk away with that.
Who scored a hat trick in the he scored a hat trick in the semi-final. Still not enough to get us over the line. And walked off.
Did you get over the stripe at all? Did he set you up at all?
No, there was an attacking raid. There was an attacking raid where Jax was on the other side of the field, but one of the crafty old veterans of the team, great man by the name of Mark Kelly, who made a bit of ground. He operates at the pace of a fucking tortoise, but he's 3 steps ahead of everyone else on the field, such as his crafty veteranness. And he created a little bit of space, drew the defender, and threw the ball to me. I had no one in front of me. I just had to, unfortunately, I really just needed to catch it and fall over the line and score. But the defender just got his fingertips to the ball and knocked it down. The white line fever that was surging through my veins, though, Nathan, I tell you what.
That was the game right there.
It was the sort of white line fever that J100 would be fucking proud of.
And the thing is, if you had got that one try and you won the game,
you know what that means.
The fact that Jackson got like a double or a hat trick or whatever, yeah. I mean, yours was a winning one.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
Such is his competitive nature, though. He, like I said, got a hat trick, and there was another ball that was. He would have put him over, and it was behind him. He reached behind him, caught it with one hand, dragged it back, and couldn't reel it in. And he's filthy that he dropped it. And
like you would have won.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of his fault he lost, really.
You up him?
That's what I said.
For being flashy.
Yeah, that was the game right there, Glenny. I mean,
that's it. Hands out in front, Jackson. What have you been flashy for?
Well, I said, mate. You know, you've only been put into the side for your speed and your hands, and you've dropped that, and unfortunately didn't run down from the other side of the field. The intercept that was taken through a pretty ordinary pass by one of the other blokes. So, not really sure why you're here, Jax, if I'm honest.
Fantastic.
Shut up, mate.
Fantastic.
I get a lot of shut up, mate, these days.
Have you seen that emotional damage Asian dad on the internet?
Yes.
Talks like just how to like fuck up your kid completely. Don't say anything, but then message them when you're 5 minutes from home and say, I hope you remember to defrost the chicken. But then leave a 5-kilo block of chicken in the freezer.
Oh, hilarious. So, yes, weekend of L's.
Unlucky, Lenny.
Look, is what it is. Big off-season ahead for the big diesel.
Yeah.
Less of a Brett Plowman type winger and more of a, I don't know.
What, Mick Hancock? Is he like a level down? I mean, because he's still got a massive ass.
Yeah. I don't know.
So do you have any metrics or any KPIs that you've set up, for improvements in the off season? Like you're aiming for times.
I've probably got to shed 20 kilo, so that'll probably bring some times down.
Do a beep test or something, Glennie.
Yeah, I probably should.
That's it. Measure yourself.
You need to do something like next weekend, and then you do your final pre-season.
Yeah.
And so we can sort of structure and map out how far
we
you've
can structure and map out. You think I'm going to share this fucking results with you?
Hey, you're a little bald Josh Schuster.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to be our special project.
No, I tell you, me and Nate, we're going to be your Alberto Salazars.
Oh fuck me, Dad.
I tell you, the sports
now I'm going to have to go and Google that.
Man, Alberto Salazar was a Nike running coach, right? And it's on Prime at the moment, unsponsored. Just fucking, here's a free plug. Bezos, my boy, I got you, Bezos. So it's on Prime Video. It's called Nike's Big Bet, and it's about this coach who is someone who okay, we watched The Last Dance and during COVID, that whole thing. I didn't understand all the fucking uproar about, oh my God, Michael Jordan was such a psychopath. Well, fucking obviously he was a psychopath. Like, to be the greatest that there has ever been in anything, you got to be a little bit fucking unstable. Like, you got to, there's something in you that's not in everybody. And this running coach.
What are you the best in the world at, mate? Because you got a few drops of that in you.
I'm the best in the world at motivating you, Glennie.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
That's a fucking nope.
Yep. How much drive do you get thinking that cunt, that fucking cunt?
Nah.
Every day.
You're overestimating it.
No,
Sorry.
I'm in your fucking Weet-Bix. You look down at your fucking spoon. There's me fucking yapping up at you, Glennie.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, no, go and watch it. We'll be your Salazars.
Righto, I look forward to it.
He was like,
what could possibly go wrong with you two cunts in my corner? Wait, you're supposed to be on my side. But Aaron Norton, keep your phone close by.
Fuck that. You don't need that. What you need is us.
He does. He needs a lot.
No, you
I
need
do.
us
I need a
figuring
lot.
out, like, if we fucking mainline caffeine directly into your scrotum, does that or does that not make you run faster?
How you mainlining that into his scrotum? I mean, obviously,
are you administering it?
Your capable hands of administering it. Yeah.
Fuck. Have you seen the size of my scrotum? You could probably shoot it in with a fucking harpoon gun. You good? I had some fucking disproportionate size nuts compared to the other bits.
Oh God! Welcome, new listeners.
Well, you take it. You take things.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And that's why you're so slow, because it's like dragging a fucking sandbag when you're
in it. It's resistance training, even when I don't want it.
Yeah, but it's not even resistance training; it's like resistance life, because I mean, you don't do anything about it. It's just there. Anyway, before we lose our entire audience, let's talk about some football games. Happened.
This is a rugby league podcast. Fuck.
Yeah, at times, yeah, occasionally, and this is one of those occasions. So we kicked off with some of these games feel like a fucking lifetime ago. I swear.
They do, don't
they? Parramatta Eels 53 defeat the Broncos 6. And my God, one thing, Glennie, is you're not the Broncos right now.
No, correct.
I mean, this one took place in their own home as well. As their most embarrassing ass whippings have this season. The Eels scored their tries through Micah Sivo, Mitchell Moses, Isaiah Papali'i, Penasini, Blake, double to Gutho, double to Opacek, Moses, 8 of 9 conversions, and a disrespectful field goal in every sense of the word. The Broncos, their 6 came through a try to Branko Lee and a conversion to Katoni Staggs.
Well, what shaped as a opportunity for Brisbane to right the ship after some pretty fucking woeful performances in recent weeks and set themselves up potentially for the finals with a big scalp. Turned out to be nothing more than a sharpen up for the Eels. Yeah. And Brisbane just continued with this trotting out the same rubbish that they have for the past 2 or 3 weeks. It's interesting to watch Brisbane turning on themselves. They've come a long way in this season. These past few weeks are showing how far they still have to come, but I think that an air of that old school Brisbane arrogance had started to creep in as they were sort of headed towards the finals. That
into the fan base, you mean?
The fan base, the old boys, like it shows that I think they'd assumed that they were back to the being one of the powerhouse clubs of the competition, and you can see in the aftermath of this game, you got the old boys lashing out and players apparently complaining that Kevy said a bad word, and Tallis coming out and telling them they're soft, and look, I'm here for it, if I'm honest with you.
Oh, absolutely! Like all day, every day. This is my drug. I mean, seeing Kevy absolutely fucking laying into them.
Yeah.
On the little picture when they were doing the post-mortem on TV, and
but what do you expect the guy to do?
Yeah,
do you expect him to sit there and sing Kumbaya and say, "Look,
don't
boys,
act like he's the first fucking coach to blow up at a pack of cunts that just lost by 50 after losing by 60 the week before."
But especially when their destiny in the finals wasn't like it was in their hands, but they just had to not fuck up too badly.
Yeah,
like they were in the top 4 like a month ago.
Yeah. But
it's unbelievable.
But it's not like they had to win that game and they had to win by 20 and then a result to go their way to get in the 8. They just had to not fuck up and let the scoreboard bleed. And they couldn't do that.
Because here's the thing, 2 weeks ago, they were ahead of Canberra by 100 in differential. Yeah. And they erased that entirely in fucking 2 weeks. Despite what Canberra did, and this is without Canberra doing anything too, mind you. They erased it through their own fucking porous defence.
However, yet again, when we ask for absolutely nothing, the rugby league gods provide. Adam Reynolds biscuiting himself in his fucking milestone game, cementing the most injury-prone player of all time.
Do you remember though, Jay?
I remember
when that guy on Twitter was saying, how dare you say that Adam Reynolds is the most injury-prone player in rugby league.
I remember.
How dare you?
I remember.
And he's had...
Very dare you.
Well, look, your insolence spoke this into existence. If I'm being perfectly honest, was he the most injury-prone player at the time we said that? No. Since? 100% yes.
And this is a thing that we're people discussing that Broncos deal. The caveat was always there. You need to look at this with 2 or 3 years in the bag before you see who got the better of the trade. But the issue with Brisbane is that they just seem to be standing around and looking for anyone else but each other or themselves to do it. There wasn't anyone that was, right, I'll fucking carry the torch, I'll get involved, I'll get in and really fucking get us back into this mix because we're not out of this game, and they weren't. Parramatta had the ascendancy for the majority of the first half.
Oh, well, I mean, let's be real. I mean, it was point a minute up to about 18-0.
But there was a stage where Brisbane could have drawn a line in the sand and gone no more. And they just didn't. There was no one that stood up and did that. For Parramatta, a much better run into the finals than even last year. And you remember how dangerous they were in the finals last season. But they were atrocious right up until the final round last year. They were really fucking bad.
Yep.
And they would be one of the sides that you would have to say is building nicely.
Yeah, exactly.
Going into the crunch time.
I mean, we'll see what their draw looks like when they get into the finals because, I mean, as we've established, there are barriers to them. But, I mean, I think if they can line up against the Panthers in the first round, or I think they'd be happy to do it.
Nice.
You have anything else to say about that one, Glennie?
No.
No, I'm done. Thank you.
There we are. Andrew in the Facebook group. He says, is it just me, or do Para concede a lot of tries off scrum plays? Now, I hadn't noticed this, but is this a thing? Have
Neither.
either of you noticed that?
I hadn't noticed it either. It's not because it's not like teams are scoring them every time either.
Yeah,
you know, like.
Nice. Lachlan, he said, so proud of the boys, sticking to the season plan of tricking all the other teams into thinking we're an out-of-form team. Now, just to dust the Dragons next week before a legendary finals run. Oh,
yeah,
man.
even then, that's not necessarily going to help you.
Ricky.
There's another piece to that puzzle.
Yeah, that's it. Ricky, he said, thoughts are with Real Dad after his two teams conceded a total of 185 points in their last 3 games. And that was
Ricky,
before
you're
the
a piece
Tigers
of
game.
shit.
Oof.
Nathan, he said, pretty crap for Reynolds' 250th. Missed most of the game and watch his team get flogged. But also, hashtag fuck the Broncos. Kevin, my 3 takeaways from this game. Ricky had more drop balls than the Eels had offloads. Payne Haas is the biggest flat track bully, and our season is over. Any positives from this season will now be overshadowed by how convincingly we've been exposed the last month.
This is legitimately what going down as one of the biggest choke jobs in the history of the game. To be nailed on top 4,
Yeah,
and relinquishes that through losing, getting flogged by like the West Tigers, for example.
Yeah.
Glennie, you can take that. You could fucking put that on a fucking print and frame it and stick it on your wall. That's your trophy for the season.
Why?
You
I
knocked
got
the
a wooden
Broncos
spoon,
out of the finals.
motherfucker.
You knocked the Broncos out of the
I'm going to get a
finals,
wooden
mate.
spoon. I'm going to frame that cunt.
Yeah, right. I'll have you got a PO box for your work?
it's
We're not recording right now. What's your PO box?
It's
work, Glennie?
Toowoomba. It's PO Box 3, and if that's not him, someone will know who he is and give it to him.
I wonder if it works like that. Yeah, like that Irish mate I used to work with back. It was like 20 years ago now, and I'm sure I've told the story on the show before. But for new ears, when he first started at the company, he'd sort of come over from the Irish office, and he was joking about this little town, this little village that he lived in this county in Ireland, and that you could write a letter and put it in an envelope and write Bubbles, Cloggin, Offaly, Ireland as the address, and it would reach him. And we're like, yeah, fucking whatever. So we did it, and we sent it there, and sure enough, we get an email with a scan of the thing and from his brother about like 2 weeks later, and it's like, yeah, got the letter,
It worked.
and it works. So this is the same thing for Toowoomba. It's like Glennie,
Glennie,
Diggers,
the
Toowoomba.
MI.
Diggers. Glennie, Diggers. Toowoomba.
Diggers, the MI, Toowoomba. That'll get through.
Oh, fuck no.
All right, moving along to the 6 p.m. Friday game. The Panthers 46 defeat the Warriors 12. Unpredictable sort of outcome to the game. The Panthers scored their points through tries to Crichton, O'Sullivan, Kikau, Yo, a double to Talon May, double to Brian To'o, and 7 conversions from Stephen Crichton. Warriors 12 tries to Reece Walsh and Eliasa Katoa. Walsh 2 conversions from as many attempts.
Yeah, the Warriors, we say the same thing about them we have all season, yada yada. Sacrifices, lived in Redcliffe, fucking sponge cakes. For Penrith, I'm not sure that was anything more than just get Luai back in and get him involved.
Yeah, and like what I said, it was a predictable outcome. I mean, it took them a long time to actually
That's it. To
get rolling. I mean, like the Warriors started off the better of the sides, and this was midway through the first half. I think when Panthers finally got over.
Yeah,
but once they did,
about 20 minutes
they started rushing them through after that point, though.
And again, this has really been them all season. There's been a couple of games where they've gotten in and really gotten to work early, but the vast majority of the time they're just happy to go at their own pace and get into their rhythm and see what they're doing. And if the other team puts on a couple of tries, then so be it. But this one really didn't hold any big surprises. Where to for the Warriors next year? What do you see them having to do?
Spoon.
Look, I mean, like how good a coach is Webby? That's the thing that you look at first. I mean, what can he do? I haven't really looked too hard at the movements of teams and they certainly haven't had any huge name signings or anything like that.
Yeah, not at all.
They've got so.
Well,
They're losing Reece Walsh, which means they're losing some sort of attacking spark in their first choice goal kicker and
gaining Tamari Martin.
Gaining Tamari Martin. They're gaining also chance as well. So
yeah, that's it.
So they've they're going to replace. I think they're going to feel they're not going to feel the burn of Reece Walsh very much at all.
That's it.
And in fact, in terms of, maybe while the ceiling, an occasional attacking brilliance isn't as high with who they're bringing in, I think the baseline reliability and defensive ability is probably going to serve them far better.
Correct. That's
I think. But that's one that's one piece of the entire thing. So, look, he's got his work cut out for him, but it's hard to say. Is there anything more associated with failure than the Penrith assistant coach who goes off to coach a club in his own right? Fucking
yes, very small sample size.
Trent.
That's it.
So next year we got two of them
picking
up clubs that have been ordinary for a long time, which is particularly in the case of Webster though. That's an environment where he can join the fucking sexy Trent and fucking boozy Garth club.
Fucking hell. Dominic, he said, like I said last week, don't give these cunts the ball till week 1, 2023. Hills and tackling drills on the menu. Levi, what a fucking soft reply here. He said, I'm super glad I'm in Bali and KO doesn't work. I'm sure it's a nice close game though. # Warriors Prems 2023. Rishi said, I found myself next to the fish on the way back to the club after the game. Simply standing, talking on his phone. He looked like he was moments away from ending someone. Scariest man of all time. Grover. Oh, no, hang on. There we are. We're off into the Melbourne ones already.
Right. The Sydney Roosters, 18, defeated the Melbourne Storm 14. Game of the round. Down there at Amy Park, as they always are. The Sydney Roosters 18 tries to Tupou, Manu, and Sual. How's his name to be pronounced now? It's like Swalihi or something.
Swalihi?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like that. This is the first time I've ever heard it. It's only just happened this week, then, right?
Yeah.
Walker, 2 conversions and a penalty goal. The Storm's 14 tries to Coates and Meaney, 2 conversions to Meaney and a penalty goal also again to Meaney.
I think the Roosters took some more steps towards peaking at the right time. We've mentioned there's a few clubs. Parramatta probably joined that rank with their win over the Broncos. And for the Roosters, this was quality opposition. They stepped up. They took the intensity to Melbourne and maintained it for 80 minutes. And the Storm came at them. And the Roosters had to be the Roosters that we expected. And they haven't really shown that en masse this season. They've had their ups and downs and have been off their game. Certainly compared to last year, and they had every right to be far better this season than last. But I was pretty impressed with the Roosters, all in all, with the form that Melbourne took into this game, and for the Roosters to take the game to Melbourne and come out on top was impressive.
And that's the way to play it. That's clearly the way through Melbourne as well.
Yes,
because look, there were loose, dumb cunts on both sides in this game, more than one.
Well,
but the Roosters they generally, as a team though, they held it together as more controlled when that sort of shit was popping off. And the Storm, they love to lose a game when they get dragged into the shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, Lenny, the most pertinent part of what you said there was that the Roosters took it to the Storm. From very early on, they made it known that we're here to get under your skin. We're here to rattle you. We don't care if we give away penalties doing it. And they picked the biggest, dumbest cunt on the entire Storm team to do it to, because they know that gone are the days. Like, you remember when you used to try to do the teams would try to do that to the Storm?
Yep. And
the Smiths and the Cronks and that just literally would not fucking care. They would look at you and giggle and just get back at running their fucking textbook perfect game plans with sinews and shit. Now, fucking big old Nelson's in there. And as soon as he's in, everyone else is invested.
Yeah.
And they fucking had him from the minute they got the fucking niggle going between Nelson and JWH. They fucking had him.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of feeling, I thought, and makes for a potentially pretty spicy contest if they do meet come finals time.
Fuck yeah.
And the other thing, apart from the spicy nature of the game, is it's just two interrelated things. One, how far on top the Roosters were in this entire fucking game.
Yeah.
But the second part of that is, yet the Storm had like a try disallowed with like 2 minutes left that would have won them the game under the sticks. And so I mean, two kind of competing things here. But the Roosters were on top for that entire fucking game.
Yep.
Well and truly on top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet the Storm almost still, despite that, almost snatched it away from them. It was only a 4-point game in the end there. And the other thing about this game is, like, as spicy as it was, there's not a heck of a lot of weeks apart from who was it? Collins. He's going to get pretty much rubbed out, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Other than that, though, I think Letters, he just copped a fine again.
Yeah, he did.
Like, honestly,
I don't even know what that was. There was a would look like a headbutt. It was high. There was a chokehold. There was some work around the face.
What? Yeah, wasn't it like? Wasn't he sent off like for?
Simbin for the like a headbutt on the ground thing.
No, it wasn't even for that though. Like they said, it was for
Wasn't
something else, like before the tackle was completed or something. Or for,
I thought it was a headbutt.
Yeah. Oh, look, I might be wrong, but
it was very spicy. There were people coming in from everywhere at that point.
Could have taken your pick.
I mean, like as a connoisseur of chaos,
yeah,
like I fucking loved it. I love this game. I love it.
Dude, I found you as a new fucking cartoon character. There's this new fucking show on Netflix. And one of the characters is called a Chaosalot. It's this little fucking alien that just feeds on chaos.
That is me.
It's fucking great.
Hey, I might need to see some fucking some royalties or licensing fees from this show. But Roosters looking good, and look, and Storm, this is a very, most definitely a final sort of caliber, game. And look, they still acquitted themselves pretty well, despite being, most definitely on the back foot of the game. And both these teams are looking good going to the finals if they can rein in their fucking dumb cunts.
That's it, hey.
And try and not get people ruled out for the season, fucking suspensions and shit. Because, man.
Speaking of ruled out,
yep.
How much football does Radley play this year?
Well, I mean, he's obviously having next week off, right? Regardless, this is the next game off.
That's it. But how many has he had in the last little while? Like, is he one of those ones that I just assume's always out with fucking?
Because remember, he's got suspensions and shit as well.
Oh,
remember?
yeah. Okay,
I mean,
that's
he's out. He can find a reason to not play.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
well, I think reasons to not play find him, just for the true way of his fucking recklessness.
But what was the outcome of his situation on Friday night? I mean, like, because he was breakdancing, which is never a good look.
Yeah, I thought there was a pending lawsuit from Fisher and Paykel for copywriting their fucking washer dryer technology on the ground. Yeah, that was fucking nasty. Hey, yeah, fuck him.
Right.
Grover.
Grover, yes, of course, Grover. What's he say?
He said Noffa's going full Noffa. Fucked off 20 metres infield, then sits on his ass. He was his own A and B defender. Mendoza, he said the Noffa Highway is back in business. Sean said Solomona is making a beeline towards being the game's biggest grub. There you go. Lachlan said, can we just appreciate the reffing of Adam G? After all that's been said about bad reffing this year, he's been good so far in this game. Best ref in the game. And I would have to agree that, again, as spicy as that got, I think he kept that to a good level of spicy.
Oh, you can imagine if Ashley Klein was in the middle of that game.
Fucking God.
I mean that is a guy who can. I mean, he's a guy who can lose control of the game real quick,
or
and start snapping at the player.
That's it. I'm important. Remember, I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think he did a very, very good job. Nat, he said, can the Storm chip in for the purchase of a Falcon so they can fuck these pigeons off? I've had 9 stubbies and it feels like I'm watching the game in a fucking aviary. Oh, nice. God. And Phil, he said, it looks like putting 60 on the Broncos is more fatiguing than putting 72 on the Tigers. Tim, if Munster waved his arms at the ref any more than he did, he'd fly away. Good to see that Adam G didn't buy into the Munster's grubbery. Fuck, have we got some fucking referee shills that have infiltrated the group now?
Well, who's the biggest? I mean, who's the biggest flapping ibis in the competition? I think Reed Marnie's a fucking solid contender as well.
He's got a fair element.
Moses
of that
and Gutho as well. I mean, the Eels have got a whole flock of them.
That's it.
But all right, moving on to Saturday's games. The Raiders 48 defeated the mighty Manly Sea Eagles 6 in Canberra to potentially, they got one hurdle to go, secure their finals position over the Brisbane Broncos. The Raiders scored tries to Rapina, Foggy, Savage, Starling, Albert Hopewade, Sebastian Chris, Corey Harawira, and a double to Hudson Young, including one of those Hudson Young specials. Manly's try, Ethan Bullimore, conversion, DCE. And I was doing family shit all day. I did not watch a fucking minute of football on Saturday until the end of the Saturday night game. So I have no fucking idea. I did not even, and when I saw the score, I'm not even watching the replay. I don't give a fuck. I'm not even watching the highlights. that's behold my barren field of fucks and how they have perished during the winter.
That's fucking delightful, but a little disappointing because I took fuck all notes about this game because I thought this cunt will ramble on about it like he always does every fucking week for the last 13 years.
I can look at the I can look at the scoreboard and fuck it and make assumptions if you want.
I find it ironic that the only try that Manly scored come off a wait for it. Schuster no look pass.
Yeah. I had someone send me. I said someone sent me a message, a DM about that. Going, I guess he's got some class in him. Yeah, right.
Don't know about that.
The lazy can't pass us to the guy who doesn't even know if he wants to play football anymore. What a double act.
It was just really apparent that Manly weren't there for any sort of reason, be it for each other or to try and salvage something in a season, or even for their spots next year.
Yeah,
you know, it was probably one of the more apparent games of the weekend where a club had gone fuck it.
Yeah,
like literally, fuck it.
I remember only saying a couple of months ago that one of the things I admired about Manly is that they were one of those teams that, down on troops, whatever the case might be, they always, they can never be accused of not having a dig.
That's it.
And even as
they
recently as a month ago
in this game,
even as recently as like a month,
yeah.
But mate, earlier this season, you'd lost Tommy, you'd lost all this stuff, and everyone was just predicting loss after loss after loss after loss.
Yeah.
And Glenn's right. It was that
they kept turning up.
Manly would come in with these fucking unheralded, gutsy performances. But yeah, no more. And I know correlation isn't causality, but it's been downhill since the Jersey fiasco.
Oh, and it hasn't, because and the number one and the number one causes, or whatever you want to call it,
Jesus,
are the ones that were involved in that fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think some fans and also some players got some hard fucking truths this year. They found out some facts that they just weren't ready to hear, and it was like, traditionally, like, when you got players, you expect them to suit up for the club and die for the jersey and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you say you got your Jake Trbojevic players who live and breathe footy, the club, and will fucking do anything with the will to win.
Yep.
Right? And I think Jakey himself was rocked by finding out that there were people at his own team that
Yeah.
didn't fucking feel that way.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? That,
Mate, I'm not sure. And it only says, and I know I've told this before, but I heard was an ex-basketball player talking on a podcast. He hosts his own show now, and he talks about how everyone thinks that everyone that's an athlete must be so happy to be there, and they're just driven by winning, and they'll do whatever it takes to win, and da-da-da-da. He said, you have no idea how many people that is just a paycheck to.
yeah.
They've just got some physical gifts, and they're going to do just enough to keep their spot. And
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, the difference between, winning competitions and not
yeah,
is the amount of people in your team that are fucking
Wired like that.
dying. Yeah, the wide like that. Yeah, or at least can
not.
simulate that, or can simulate that for 6 months. And then switch off afterwards if they have, if they need to, whatever. So
for Canberra though, I'm not sure. Like, we're talking about these Hudson Young specials. Like, fuck, they're amazing, and I fucking love watching them.
it's better than poking cunts' eyes out, isn't it?
Well,
Really.
I love an actual
It's
proper
preferable.
redemption story. This one isn't. I fucking sexually abused somebody, and now I'm good enough at footy. I get to play Origin. That's not this redemption story. It really is. Well, I was a shit cunt, and now I'm less of a shit cunt.
And now I'm focusing on footy and look what's happening. I'm
That's
playing
it.
well.
That's it. And I'm doing okay. I'm not a fucking world beater, but I'm out there. I'm doing okay. Is that sort of play tenable going into a final series? When you're up against that Manly side that's given up, fair enough. But if you're up against the Storm and the Roosters,
Well, look, his play is really fucking simple. If the play before brings the fullback into the defensive line,
shit. Yeah,
then
grubber.
fucking throw a grubber through from 5 meters out, because there's no one home.
Yeah.
And I mean, then it's just a race and a jostle, and he's a big unit. He can push his way through a crowd, and and he doesn't boot it into the advertising hoarding like his mate over there in the six. So, he's got one of the finest grubber games that we've ever seen, frankly.
Finally, someone in Canberra with a short kicking game.
It's a fucking second rower.
Yeah.
I think if Canberra, at the end of the day, they've got a massive hurdle to overcome in the last round. But if Canberra should make the 8 and be so fortunate that results go their way and they scrape into the 8, they got fuck all to lose. A few grubbers close to the line, it could fucking turn a game.
And and you got to remember as well. I mean, there's a number of clubs in there in that bottom, in the bottom 4 sides. I mean, sure, if they're up against the Roosters and it's old Squid Game Tedesco that's there, the ROI on those short grubbers is probably not going to be as high.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But if they line up against Gutho,
Does love fucking camping in the defensive line.
yeah, I mean, then the opportunities open up somewhat.
Yeah, fuck. Nice. What do we have on the socials on that one?
In conclusion, # fuck the Broncos though. I mean, their collapse can't be complete without fucking soldiers doing their job.
That's it.
And so I salute the fucking Manly Seagulls for giving me one bit of fucking joy this season.
Oh, lovely. Sam, he said, has anybody in the history of the game ever kicked the ball out on the full as much as Jack Whiten has? No, he has not.
Benji Marshall.
Maybe Chris Sandow.
Benji was more throwing them. No, Benji was throwing them though.
He
They'll cut out
kicked,
passes.
He kicked plenty as well, mate. Trust me.
Terry, he said, Manly are wondering if they can add DCE to the 4 into the Titans deal. Toto.
Unlikely.
Yeah, no one would want him. Toto said, fuck Manly. One job and they can't do that right.
Unlucky, Toto. Your team's not playing the finals, mate.
Ash.
I feel sorry that
Ash
your
said,
team...
I'm utterly confused as to why this result is so pleasing. Is it because the youth suicide squad is getting smashed, or because the Broncos are getting some quality fuck the Broncos action elsewhere on the ladder? There you go. Who knows? Who knows? But it is what it is.
Exactly. Was that it?
That's it.
The Sharkies 16 defeated the Bulldogs 0 at Reclaim Australia Stadium. The Sharks tries 2 Nakora and a double to the Mutt. And Hines, 2 of 3 conversions. Doggies, fucking duck egg. And yet again, the Potter era is coming to a disappointing close.
He really is.
Ever since they announced they weren't keeping him.
Yeah. He's faded out spectacularly. Old Potter, reminiscent of his days at the Tigers. Sharks were a long way.
He had Robbie, who's white handing though. He had Robbie fucking working him over behind the scenes.
Yeah, true.
And that was one of Robbie's greatest hits. Second only to fucking Jason Taylor.
I think the Sharks are a long way from the standard they've set for most of this season, but to Dairy Queen, and I think it's better to get a performance like that out of the way now rather than in a couple of weeks' time when it's sudden
100%.
death. They did some of what they needed to do, and that was enough to beat the Dogs, who were pretty disappointing. I think the Sharks probably maintained their structure defensively, and the Dogs couldn't find a way to score points. And Moylan with a touch of class, and Hines as well. And it was enough, but pretty underwhelming performance from the Sharks. But
it was poor completions though. Like they didn't hold the ball at all.
No.
And the Bulldogs reverted back to like sort of last year Bulldogs, where they completed reasonably well, but no line breaks. Didn't look like putting any points on the board at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I'm not too worried if I'm the Sharks.
No.
No, fuck no. They're vying for a top 2 position here.
Exactly.
And the 2 points was by far the most important thing.
Yep.
And the second most important thing was probably not getting any of you guys injured.
That's it.
And then after that, whatever.
Yeah, spot on. Josh, you said the Sharks were the easiest draw, just like 2016, but probably won't go that far. Did we talk about the fucking stupidity of that dumb shit last week?
You're going to have to be more specific. It was an episode of our podcast.
That fucking the dumb cunts on Fox bitching about the clubs having softer draws than others.
I cannot
and
it's one of the things that fucking drives me.
But the whole
most
fucking
insane.
crux of it, right? Now, if that have come in and gone, well, we know what the quality of last year's competition was. And so this is how many of last year's top 8 sides they've had to play. I might understand that. Maybe. But what they've essentially done is gone, this team didn't have to play very many top 8 sides. However, no one knew that the fucking Cowboys were going to be good. Like, all of a sudden...
The Broncos are going to be up there most of the time.
That's it.
And most people would have assumed the Tigers would be in the 8. They're disappointed.
Yes.
So how the people making the draw?
But it's true. The Sharks have had the softest draw ever to get.
This fucking talk about the draw when it's made. There's no fucking way to look into the future about. It's only something people can say in hindsight.
Yeah.
And sure, okay, great. The way it worked out in 2022 is that the Sharks' draw running into the finals was really fucking soft.
Yep.
But you know what? You know who's to blame for that? Absolutely fucking nobody. It's just the way it turned out.
Exactly. Like, there is no fucking way unless you go. So you play each team at home and away.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what those articles should be. The draw is not this.
Yeah.
So there's some ambiguity.
Yep.
Fucking dumb fucks. Joshua, he said, is it just me or are these jerseys fucking blinding on TV and also look the exact same? Also, ScoMo just spotted on this broadcast, hope that evangelical dog gets dropped at Northies. Cool. Wonder what ASIO do for making threats against the former Prime Minister.
Do we back him up as staunchly as like the Secret Service backs up former presidents?
Nah. I reckon
Yeah,
I reckon ASIO have got a firm fuck that cunt policy.
Or did he sign himself in as the fucking head of ASIO when they weren't looking like everything else? He's probably signed himself up as the fucking chairman of the fucking Sharkies or something.
Can you imagine that? ScoMo takes his kids to Macca's for something. Next thing you know, he's back there cooking the fries, giving them large fries in their Happy Meal. Manager, Greg, how can one simultaneously be a fan of a club yet infuriated with them? Up, Cronulla.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Let Glenn tell you how. and frankly, me too. The last month and a half.
I could fucking teach classes.
That's it. Chris said, great defence by the Sharkies, but unconvincing attack tonight. We need to do better, like stabbing the opposing halfback. Jesus fucking Sharks people, why are you so violent? Fucking threatening violence on players and your number one ticket holder, Scott Morrison.
and black people.
He's the patron saint of your club. Fucking hell. There we are.
Right. The Rabbits 20 defeated the North Queensland Cowboys 10 at Accor Stadium. The Rabbits tries through Kolomatangi, Johnson and Burgess. Latrell 3 conversions and a penalty goal. The Cowboys 10 tries to Taulagi and Felt, with Valentine Holmes 1 from 2 on the conversions.
Tight game between two.
Finals locked in for the Rabbits.
Yeah, two pretty good sides with their own respective chances to go deep in the finals. The Rabbitohs, I think, were probably just that little bit more experienced, which was enough to capitalise on the couple of big moments, which proved to be the difference in the game. The Cowboys, I think they benefit from the contest against a good team. South just, there wasn't a lot between the two sides, I thought. The fact that the Cowboys had to play the last, critical 6 or 7 minutes with 12 men and the last couple with 11.
11
but, that may have had some bearing, but what did you think of the initial sin binning, which looked to me to be more of a head clash?
Tough one, right?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Looked to me, obviously more of a head clash. There was probably contact,
but then
to head. But
see, then again, we have the Finucane precedent this year.
Yeah,
where it just seems to be, if there is anything in your tackling technique that causes contact with the head.
Yeah.
Even if it's your own head.
Yeah.
I'd really like them.
What's happening on the charges of that one? Is he getting charged over it?
I went looking before we hit record and I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like them to come out and actually formalise it and talk about, an attempt to lower the body or whatever. And we have that wording elsewhere with tackles. Like when you talk about the difference between a shoulder charge or not.
Yeah.
There is, is there the intent or a wrapping motion or whatever the fuck they say, but if it really is now going to be that, okay, well, if you cause any part of your body to hit their face or their head, then you need to word it that you need to lower the body enough so that the highest point of your body is lower than their head.
Yeah.
Or however that comes. But, mate, it's not going to go away. This issue's only going to get more and more prevalent.
Yep.
As people find new ways to knock themselves out. So,
and I think from a litigious standpoint, as the heightened scrutiny and level of attention that concussions and CTE are getting in many sports, but not just rugby league, but as a lot of players that come through this particular era or the era just prior get a bit older and start showing more and more symptoms, I think it's only going to ramp up and be further scrutinised and reviewed much more closely. But
I don't know. It was Old Boys Day at the Penrith game, and they had guys out there walking around that had won premierships with the club.
Yeah.
And fuck me, some of those guys from 91. Like the only ones you really see in the media, or the ones that are visible at the moment, are Brandy and MG.
Yeah. I guess Gerds to an extent as well.
Yeah. But they've both obviously.
Was Girdler there in 91?
No, not 91.
No.
In 2003.
No. Like just I said Old Boys.
But the 91 guys, Brandy and look, you see, he's literally made up for television and has fucking makeup on. And MG obviously takes care of himself and has turned his life around after he's fucking.
Well, he's taking care of himself better than he was in his later playing
Correct.
days.
That's it.
Frankly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, some of these 91 guys are looking old, and I don't know whether that's the wear and tear on the body.
For example,
more so. You look at Royce.
Yeah.
And
he's got his issues, hasn't he?
Royce looked 100 when he won the grand final, but it's coming.
He was one of the last of the Mohicans from that era where, the guy was a butcher and then played on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck, a team leader. I reckon he was a team leader at Telstra. I reckon
oh, really?
I think so. Because I always used to
Is that
marvel at that.
legit? Or
Because you watched it, and like after he scored his try, they'd bring up, Roy Simmons and like his age and this and occupation.
Yeah.
They'd put it on the TV. I think that was it. I haven't watched 91 in fucking ages, but yeah, the CTE thing's coming.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and it's coming. Yeah, because it's coming because we're in an age of where players we've been watching on TV regularly for 20 years. The era when those guys that are like where you know so much more about the players and you've seen them so much more. There's been so much more media access where you've got maybe not hours, but depending on the player, but you've got all this footage of them being interviewed for like man of the match or in the sheds or before the games, or as they come off at half time and or on a guest on a TV show. And so we just got so much more of a I don't know, like a benchmark on which to gauge them 30 years down the track.
Yeah, that's it. But no, I think, again, like think of halfway through the season, everyone, the opinion of South versus the Broncos, oh, well, this and why did South let Reynolds go and what have they done and this and the Broncos were fucking flying. Come the business end of the season, there is a fucking Grand Canyon between the four.
And again, the Broncos fans' general line of attack is that, they want to trade and that South let Reynolds go. No. South wanted Reynolds for this year.
Yeah.
They didn't think he was durable enough for years 2 and 3.
That's it.
Now we're finding out towards the end of the first year.
He may or may not have been durable enough for this year.
And he's had like what three game missing injuries.
He's had the ribs. He's got a concussion now.
And there was something earlier.
I think there was a knee or an ankle earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So look,
and that's one of the things about a game. You can't predict injuries and you can't plan for them. But I'll tell you, South Sydney seem to be in a much better position building as they are now, rather than looking to head into the finals going, is our half available?
Yeah.
So yeah, not a bad.
And sort of fading out down, falling, tumbling down the ladder.
That's it. That is it. What do you reckon on the Cowboys? Anything to be alarmed about?
I don't think it'd be alarmed. I mean, it was a close game. I mean, South deserved to win the game well and truly. I mean, I think those, the sin bins at the end, robbed the Cowboys of a chance to overcome a 4-point deficit. But like the Rabbits deserved to win the game.
That's it. Thomas, he said, watching this thing way more on edge than I hope to be at this point in the season. Christ, if we get knocked out of the 8 by fuck the Broncos, we'll deserve what we get. Well, I don't think you have to worry about them even making it. So you're fine. Stuart said, hearing Peyton whinging about the reffing makes me feel a bit better about the Tigers-Cowboys game. And really, the majority of the comments in that game thread were some version of that. So, Glennie, as much as before that game happened, everyone was wishing a fucking decline on you, everyone was singing the sweet song of justice on your behalf in that thread. So they really do care. They love you.
Well, I'm beloved. What can I say?
Which brings us to Sunday. The Dragons 24 defeat the Tigers 22 at Combank Stadium. The Dragons 24 came through tries to Jaden Sewer, Zach Lomax, Tautau Monga and Jackson Ford. 3 conversions and a penalty goal to Lomax. The Tigers, they had tries through New Brown, Jockey Madden and a double. The first 2 tries of the career for Freeburn. And Dewey 3 or 4 conversions. We did an episode on this one. All 3 were on deck. And with the Tigers leading at 16-6 at half time, thanks to some, a large amount of penalties and 2 sin bins given in the first half to give them a bit of an advantage. Whether they took full advantage is up for debate, but they took advantage of the benefits that are provided, and they had a good 16-6 lead. And I don't know, Glennie, basically, this game wasn't.
You're doing a fine job, mate. Please continue.
This game wasn't controversial. The Tigers lost this game from a position where they were in a very. They were on the verge of an 8-point lead.
Yes.
With not much time left.
That's it.
But this time there was no controversy. The creativity of this fucking team in finding new and innovative ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory it's impressive because if they were trying to do it, I don't think they could be as successful.
No.
It's
And that speaks volume for the
it really
level
does.
of
But
fuckery.
Glennie, I'll let you address the details. I mean, it's your cross to bear. So
Look, ultimately, this was a battle of the cunts. And surprise, surprise, the Dragons and their fan base came out on top. We lost the game. You could just feel it. We were up 16-6, as you say, at halftime. You could just feel it coming with stupid fucking mistakes. And they're coming down the field. The forwards are doing some hard work, and then the outside backs, or Dewey had one, and just fucking up in the play of the ball or dropping the ball cold. And you could just feel that the Dragons, who were fucking equally as abysmal in large part as well. And Nate, you made the comment in the members-sode that it started to look like the Dragons were like, oh, fucking hang on, we're actually in this game. And if we just... And you could see Ben Hunt got his tail up, and they started to get a bit of field position and a few sets on the Tigers' line. And ultimately they turned it into points. Lomax scored off a beautiful kick from Bird, and then the try to put them put them level was the softest fucking.
Yeah, that one was pretty
as
bad.
Soft as you've ever going to see.
that was one from straight out of the Roosters drubbing where
100%.
a forward come through the edge and there's not a hand laid on him.
Can't fucking count numbers for fuck's sake. That was bad enough. The fact that we then don't have an understanding of the rules where
before then you're leading 22 points to 16. The ball comes, you force a goal line dropout.
Yeah.
And so at this point, you've got another set where you can think field goal, you can think try, whatever. The dropout, the Dragons go the short dropout. It goes all of 6 meters.
Yeah.
And instead of landing safely 6 meters out from the try line and then fizzing out like it did and rolling backwards, and earning a penalty and a gift 2 points for the club to go up by 8. Who's the fucking player? Pauga's there, and he's there 6 meters out. And the ball lands on his foot. Like, why is he encroaching in the fucking 10-metre line anyway?
Why are you even there?
Yeah. It's fucking craziness. The saddest thing of all is, this was one of the Tigers' losses that makes the meme club meme. But sadly, in 2022, the year of our Lord, this ranks third in those types of games. Third. Like, how many clubs have 3 in their history? We've got 3 this year.
Yeah,
at least true. 2 last year. Get the fuck out of here. What? This is
the thing. It's not like these. It's not like Canberra where it'd be like, oh, they're leading by 14 at half time and get run down at the end, or they're leading by 10 with 10 minutes to go and they get run down at the end.
Yeah.
This is like just the fucking creativity and artistry in fucking up and losing these games is just it's unfucking believable. Again, as a chaos connoisseur, it's tremendous. But like I defy anyone who listens to those member-sodes, particularly this game and the Cowboys game. I'm more fired up than Glennie about how fucking irate I am about these stupid cunts and what they consider fucking closing down a game. Fuck me.
It's
I can feel my fucking blood boiling again already. Just reliving that shit.
Yeah, it's look, the Dragons fans, I copped a bit less than I expected. If I'm honest, it was pretty ordinary attempts to give it to me. What did they know?
They knew they didn't deserve it.
They
knew you gave that to them. They didn't win it.
It doesn't normally stop them.
Where have we landed on Ben Hunt? What's he? Have they re-signed him yet? I've heard nothing.
Lowballed him. He's waiting to the end of the season to see what happens.
So he's on $1 million plus now, isn't he?
No, he's on $1 million maximum, I reckon.
$1 million, okay.
And they came back with something low.
But at what?
Like what, 657, something like that.
See,
I mean,
that's fine. Low balling's fine. But what needs to happen is there needs to be a situation where it's possible that your offer is good enough for them to take it. Low balling doesn't mean a ridiculous one that they'll never take.
Yeah.
So going to someone that's on $1 million, who is obviously the best player at your club,
yep.
And playing like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not like he's, oh, well, you're just the best here because everyone's shit.
Yeah.
You're having a close to a career season.
Because the Dragons on
offer you
paper,
less.
the Dragons on paper, he's the best player in the team.
Yeah.
On reputation
sure.
and name alone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let alone the way he's played this whole season.
Yep.
Then on performance, he's just cemented it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck. Absolute shocking.
Fucking mental. Because where do they go if he leaves? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they signed Luke Brooks or
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
they-
Like,
and
get the
they're
fuck
forced
out of here.
And they're forced to actually use these wonderful junior players that they haven't been given game time to.
Yeah.
But they haven't got a halfback in there.
Throw them in at the deep end and ruin their careers.
Yeah. Fuck. Anyway. Dev, he said, bend over, Glennie. I'm going in dry. Dylan, the Tigers are fucking diabolical. I don't understand how a professional sports team continues to put themselves in these positions. Jared said, please fold. It's easier than me thinking this shit will change. Rishi, game ends in heartbreak. My wife, are all Tigers fans cutters? Me, probably. Daniel, shout out to the Dragons for ending our spoon destiny. Hashtag rather be dead than blue and red. Toto, as a lifelong Tigers fan for 1 week, I am not sure I can go through this again.
My man, you are not resilient enough.
Oh, my fucking God. It is interesting, though. I did see another great comment in the Facebook group about expansion and whether people are a fan of it or not.
Yeah.
If anyone, and I said this during the members-ode, if anyone ever thinks that the game is ready for expansion and has the talent pool ready for expansion, show them
Watch
this game.
this game.
Show them. You mean the Gold Coast 36 defeating the Newcastle Knights 26?
No. The Tigers versus the Dragons. That was. Then if they're not convinced, you can follow it up with that.
Yeah, so the Gold Coast 36 defeated the Knights 26 at Hope Solo Coliseum. The Titans, their tries came through Tanner Boyd, Dave Fafita, Bo Firma, a double to AJ Brimson, and a double to Greg Marzu with Boyd 4 conversions. The Knights 26 tries to Big Dick Edric, Daniel Saifidi, Dominic Young, and a double to Dane Gagai, Tex Hoy, 3 conversions.
Unlike the Tigers, I think the Titans showed some signs that they actually wanted to avoid the spoon. There were some of the positives of who the Titans are. I think Brimson's speed, Campbell's creativity, Fafita's power. Unfortunately, there was also plenty of why they're spoon contenders, and the same goes for Newcastle. It's the cavern between sides like these and the Tigers and the really good teams. Is fucking huge and as big as it's been in a long time. And, these lesser light teams have to play out of their skin and hope for an off day from the likes of the Melbournes or the Roosters or, God forbid, Penrith, to have a chance of beating them. And it's, I shudder to think, given the roster that they have available at the moment, and regardless of who the fuck's coaching them, the Dolphins are gonna be swimming with with these cunts, like the Titans and the Knights and the Tigers and next year. There's going to be more good games than bad next season. I think I strongly feel, but in the end, the Titans did what they needed to do to go another week and try and avoid the spoon. And Newcastle, Edric Lee's been a highlight for me. I'm
a big Edric fan.
Yeah, just the target that he is as an aerial threat is an asset in itself. Milford.
Like Dom Young's been pretty good as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely,
I think over
yeah.
the last couple of weeks. But I mean, the thing about this is the Titans. I mean, yeah, they won. You know, they avoided the spoon by defeating a poor side in the Knights. But yeah, they fucking did it the hard way. I mean, like they had 30-odd minutes where they were down to 12 men because Brian Kelly got his
Yeah.
he got his ass sent off.
Yeah.
So, and the Knights didn't start their comeback until very late. Very late. I mean, they looked likely, and you could see them building and getting over the line and getting these tries disallowed. And I think that, probably both of the tries were disallowed. Probably were scored. I mean, certainly that Jacob Saifidi one was 100% fucking scored. I mean, there was an angle there where the ball hit the ground and the bunker just fucking ignored it. And look, maybe that might have been, that might have changed things as well, because I think the longer this game went, the more it looked like the Knights were just going to keep scoring tries till they caught them.
Yeah. Well, Gaga was having a field day out there towards the end.
Yeah, but I mean, he got absolutely fucking raped in the, up until that point too, when he started, it was class when he, at the end there, he had some great moments.
I just can't get over looking at that Titans forward pack on paper.
Yep.
And thinking, like, imagine I come to you and I'm like, Nate, we're fucking blowing up the whole league.
Yep.
And I get to pick some starting players for you to build a club with. Here you have David Fafita and Mo and Tino. And that's the beginning of your forward pack. You go and do the rest yourself.
Yeah.
I haven't done too badly by it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, look, they played accordingly in this game too. I mean, they rolled through the middle at fucking will, particularly in that first half.
But why are we doing that in end of season games that don't matter
against teams that are also down there?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's this thing. The gap from last year in that side, I can't fucking get over.
Yeah, and once again, they've done the late season.
Yeah,
get a couple of wins to give hope and promise for the next year, but not as good as they did last year, and this year was an absolute fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah. Daniel, you said they should give us the spoon anyway. We deserve it more than anyone. Talking about the Knights.
Yeah. Thought I'd give.
Do you
Thomas.
do they really?
My God, how does it feel to be a Titans fan and see them able to do this, albeit against the Knights? A man down when they have forgotten to walk and breathe at the same time in other games this season. Jesus Christ. Ryan, he said, poor Tigers destined for the wooden spoon, short of a Christmas miracle. Ha ha ha.
Yes, and that's round 24, and the Christmas miracle we mentioned with the Gold Coast. Who are they playing? Glenn, I forgot already.
Just bringing it up now. They're playing Warriors.
Yeah. So the Gold Coast are playing the Warriors. Tigers playing the Raiders. We're dealing with about 75 points in differential between the two sides. So we need the West Tigers to upset the Raiders, hopefully by, a good 30 points. Then the Titans have to get absolutely obliterated by the Warriors by a good 40 points. And then, and only then, we may see that Christmas miracle come to fruition.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, honestly, the answer to that question is who fucking knows? Because what could possibly go wrong when they played the Titans the first time? What could possibly go wrong when they played the fucking Cowboys and were winning?
Everything.
What could possibly
go wrong?
The thing is, they're unpredictable in what can go wrong. You never can tell what's going to happen next, and I mean that's why the Tigers are such a fun team to not be a fan of.
Glennie, if you can beat the Raiders 48-0, and the Warriors beat the Titans 30-0. You're off the bottom. So it's possible.
Fucking foregone conclusion.
And in the favour of the Tigers, it's the last game on the weekend. So they're going to know the equation is going to be laid out in front of them.
So
the Warriors can somehow get the win.
You mean like those couple of years in a row where we were the last game on the weekend, and the mathematical equation was laid out for the team, and we needed to win. Just win. There was one year where we just had to win, and we were at home, and we got done by 60.
If you
South and the Raiders dropping 60 burgers on you when you needed them least.
If you beat the Raiders by 48, you also put the Broncos back into the 8.
Oh, well, I mean, pluses and minuses.
If we beat the Raiders by 48, I will have a ceremonial dick amputation. Self-amputation.
So you're saying that if the West Tigers avoid the spoon, they put the Broncos into the finals?
No, the points differential against Canberra has to come down. So it's not if they avoid the spoon, they have to put points on Canberra.
But for them to avoid the spoon, there has to be that points differential has to occur, doesn't it?
No, there's two parts to that equation.
Well, yeah, the Titans losing as well by a certain amount.
Yeah, the Warriors have to pump the Titans,
but also the Broncos have to beat the Dragons.
Yeah, no. Well, if the Dragons beat the Broncos, that'll put Canberra in. You're right.
Yeah, and look, let's face it, Ben Hunt revenge game. We'll talk about it all on Wednesday night.
Can happen. Let's go. Fuck yeah.
That is it for episode 491. Thanks for listening, everyone. I probably should have had a look at the fucking tipping thing. Can you talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I get the tipping up, because we're coming into the business end of that season as well.
Hey Jay,
I keep putting my tips in, and I keep doing extremely well at it.
Fucking
my team is
who
pack
cares
of
about
cunts.
tipping? Who cares about
The
tipping?
the people who religiously put their tips in.
Bullshit. Predicting is the new tipping. You fucking 1 week at a time, bitches.
Mitch Rich, he's on top again. He maintains his 1 point lead. Barrett's Belmore still in second place. And then we've got a bunch of people in third place who are Fat Boy, Alpha Ben RL, M Jonesy, and Dan Eel. And then we go back to a couple of people on 3 points off the top. Mitch Doyle, 13. Dan, Glenn Wang, Timmy Comedian, your mate Glenny, and Andrew Kirby, 84.
Fuck that guy.
There you go. Now, what else? Oh, merchandise. I had an email on Friday with the tracking details for the merch, and considering it's only coming from fucking Newstead, I would have expected to get it today, to be perfectly honest, but I didn't. So that is everything except for the polos, I think, because they had extra time on them. So all of the Patreon stuff and the hoodies, they're coming. I'll probably get them tomorrow. So we're still waiting on the polos for the main member stuff, for the classic memberships. So when they come, we'll bust those out. And if you're a patron and bought some merch, I'll probably bundle it up together, send it to you into one shipment. So, but yeah, if you're a patron, you didn't buy any other stuff, you'll probably get it. You probably get the dispatches this week. So you got that to look forward to. Can't wait to see it. It'll be great.
Amazing.
And it's about fucking time. And yeah.
That's us.
That's it. You guys got anything else you want to say?
Fuck the Tigers.
Jesus, Glenny. Glenny, are you jumping on the Dolphins?
No.
We do need to find someone who's sincerely jumping off a team and going to the Dolphins.
Oh, look, I put a thread up in the Facebook group. I reckon there's enough in there to chat about.
You're right.
Interestingly enough, they're going far and wide. Like, we were out doing some stuff at Carindale yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is, for those that don't know, a long way from Redcliffe.
Well, south side, yeah.
Yeah. And big fucking Dolphins posters everywhere all over Westfield. Like big electronic billboards out the front.
Wonderful time to be advertising the Dolphins, though. I mean, because while the Broncos are shitting the bed.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Like, give people hope for a better tomorrow.
That is it. Anyway.
With their main man, Benny.
Fuck yeah. How good.
Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening.
All right, boys.
And see you next
See ya.
one. I'll see you on Tuesday. Wednesday.
See ya.
See ya.